Hello again, it's Lock Noob, and often when I'm gutting locks like this, yeah, that happens. No, clearly that was staged, but it does prove a point, and this happens quite a lot. You probably see me do this on videos too many times over the years. Now you might be thinking, why don't you use a pinning mat? And it's actually, I do use pinning mats, I just don't use them on my video because of the aesthetic. And the fact they're usually heavily branded, and it's just nice to have a clean slate to present from. But that doesn't mean that I don't use them in real life, because wow, they are handy when you have a massive pin spill. Having a pinning mat which actually dampens the fall of the pins and springs and all the other guts in a lock, gives you somewhere handy to place all the keys and cores and plugs and bibles and cams and bodies and all the other things that you have on a lock. It can just be so much nice to have around when you're trying to pin a lock back up, or a series of locks if you are a locksmith. And here are 3 of my favourite pinning mats. Now you might think, why haven't I done a video on pinning mats before? And it's because, well, on its own a single pinning mat isn't really that, I'll be honest, exciting for a video. But luckily for me, Vent have provided me with a couple of pinning mats that they stock, and Sparrows have also sent me a pinning mat. So with 3 pinning mats, of which these are really some of the best ones out there, I believe, as well. I think we got enough for a video, which is what I'm going to do now. So where to start? Well, this is the pinning mat from Peterson, and it is actually relatively small. It's about the same size as a grown man's hand, if you see what I mean. It's quite a small little, maybe about probably 3/5 of the size of a sheet of A4 paper, and it's really nice and actually pretty good value. And I'm just taking these prices off the Zerfix website, although you can buy it from Peterson themselves and other retailers. So do shop around, of course. This is about $21 US, about £50.50, or about 17-18 euros. So it's actually pretty good value, and it is just slightly bigger and a little bit more organised than, say, a little pinning tray like this, which you can 3D print. It's made of softer materials. It's nice and grippy. It won't slip around on your desk as well, which is really nice. And well, let me just cut away and I'll show you it's all organised up. So here you can see everything has its place. Got a place for your tweezers, got a place for your core, got a place for all the other bits that you might have. I've got my sort of core holder pin and spring here. It can take up to 7 pins in a row. Nothing's going anywhere anytime soon. It's nice and grippy. Those pins are well sunk into the pinning tray, but also there's plenty of room to just get in there with your tweezers. You don't have to sort of fish in. It's not like a game of Operation or anything. So this one is just really nice and compact, very grippy. Great if you're just pinning up 1 or 2 locks. But let's move on to this. So this is the Lab pinning mat, and this is a particularly popular pinning mat. I know a lot of people with these. And again, I'm taking the price off the Zerfix website, although you might find other resellers. So again, I always say shop around, but these are quite typical prices, around $50 US, about £37, around 43 euros or thereabouts, depending on, of course, the price of the day, as always. And what's nice about this is, of course, you've got a place to hold some pins and springs, etc. But what's good about this is it has these little, I don't know what it's called, dimples, but they act as sort of baffles. So if you've got a pin, you just drop it. It sort of dampens where it drops to, and it really does sort of grab hold of the pins. Clearly, if you bounce them at a great height, they'd probably fall all over the place. But I have found that it does tend to, especially a short distance, hold on to these pins really well. So I can sort of see why it's popular, and it's pretty no nonsense. I'm just going to throw some pins and springs in this to show you what I mean, and be back in a second. So you can see you've got quite a large workspace here. If you're a bit messy or you just have a load of tools, again, you can just have plenty of space on this to put all your tools around, plenty of place to move things around. You've got your place to pin up to a 7-pin lock over here. It's just a nice working mat, really, for all sorts of jobs, including pinning up locks. The size is around, probably a bit shy of around an A3 size as well, so it's quite a nice large working space. And here is the Sparrows pinning mat. It's a tiny bit bigger than the lab pinning mat and is pretty good value. At the moment on Sparrows website it's around $25 US, about £18, or around 21-ish euros, again depending on the exchange rate of the day. It doesn't have those kind of like little baffles on the mat like the lab one does, but it does have a lot of space for pinning up multiple locks. So if you're a locksmith and you had a suite of locks to pin up, maybe all keyed alike, or a small set of master keyed locks, then yeah, you've definitely got space to do multiple locks all at the same time. So as you can see, plenty of room for tools and all your pins and all the other bits that you might have. One thing I didn't mention about the Peterson's pinning tray as well is that it has 4 rows, if you like, and if I zoom into this one, you'll see that the Sparrows mat also has plenty of columns here. I think it's 8 across, but 4 deep, so that you can have a row for any of your master wafers like this. Should you be, you know, making a suite of locks that are all mastered to work with 1 or more keys. So there you go, a really nice selection of some of the more popular and certainly some of my favourite pinning trays that you can get out there. If you do work a lot on locks and you're exploring them, cleaning them, pinning them up, whatever it is you do, if you do that quite regularly, I really think it's an investment to get yourself a pinning mat of some kind, you know, nice durable one, which is designed for, you know, lock sporting, locksmithing. It can really help out if, like me, you have a few accidents when you're doing your pinning. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment. What are your favourite pinning mats? What do you think to these ones? I really do read all of the comments and I reply to as many as I can. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, then please consider doing so. It really helps my channel out. And of course, I'll see you all next time.